Good evening, everybody. Happy Friday, January 22nd, almost 3 p.m. Prices of Bitcoin currently at $33,500. We've had a decent amount of movement to the downside and to the upside, and now we are looking like we want to push higher. But is this the real push that's going to propel us higher, or are we going to retrace back down? What's going to happen to altcoins? They bounced back really, really hard over the last 24 hours or so. So where do we go from here? We're going to talk about all that stuff in today's Bitcoin and altcoin analysis. But first, if you are interested in our Advantage membership, which is all these locked channels that you see right here, once again, what you get is with this Advantage membership, the 97 per month, you get access to all these channels. You get 2 videos a day, morning time, my time, and then evening time as well. You get access to all the analysis that I put out pretty much every single hour, every couple of hours. Whatever I'm seeing in the market, whether it's Bitcoin analysis or altcoin analysis, everything that I'm seeing in the market, I post in these channels right here, okay? So y'all can clearly see we are a pretty active and busy community sharing a ton of analysis, tons of thoughts from different traders from all over the world. And we are a very open and welcoming community, all right? So once again, you can go to our website and join our Advantage membership if you are interested in joining this private area of all these locked channels, okay? But let's talk about Bitcoin. All right. Obviously, this is on the forefront of everybody's mind. We had a big sell-off yesterday and even going into last night, right? And then finally, we made a final V-style capitulation right here, all the way to a low of about $28,800. And then we quickly developed this kind of range, okay? I would say a lot of price action has taken place through this white box that you see. And that is also associated with the amount of volume that took place in this general area. So whenever you see the market come inside a range like this, what you do after the range is probably the most important thing. First of all, what I generally like to see is when a range develops like this, right? You generally like to have this kind of V-style capitulation. So this is actually a good sign. Now, would I have wanted for a deeper V-style correction and then pop up and then push off? Yeah, but not all things have to be perfectly as though how we want them, okay? We did, however, have a perfect tap at the yearly open, something that I had mentioned not only on Twitter, but for my Advantage members. Now, personally, like I said, I would have hoped this wick to go just a little bit deeper. But all in all, this is really the level I was watching, right? This was the most important level that I was watching. I stated that if this breaks, then possibly we might go to about 26,250. But again, that level had to be broken. So what is the definition of breaking, right? The definition of a level breaking generally is price starts to slide away from that level. At times, you retest that level as resistance and then break down. That would be a level that's considered broken right at that point, and once it starts going below this low. Okay, now we didn't do that, right? In fact, we touched the yearly open very perfectly. V-shape recovered, and now we're well above $33,500, almost $5,000 off the lows. So you're probably wondering, holy shit, did I miss the bottom? Did I buy the bottom, or did I get an opportunity to buy the bottom? Did I sell the bottom? All these thoughts are going to come into your mind. And on my Twitter feed, I actually wrote up a thread for those of you who will probably have these kinds of detrimental thoughts, if you will. And it's in this thread right here. Okay, make sure you read that, because what that thread encompasses is the mindset that goes on with people of what happens in areas like this. Okay, how do you go about reconciling if you sold the bottom, or if you didn't get an opportunity to long the bottom, or if you were already in a position, should you have doubled down? Did you sell your altcoins? Should you have doubled down on your altcoins? All this stuff is going to go through your mind, okay? But the point is that these thoughts are something that you will almost always have. The best way to deal with them is always be prepared for game plans like this. Always have levels mapped out for situations like this. If you are perpetually bullish or perpetually bearish, you will not have the opportunity to look at the market from an unbiased, objective lens. You will almost always be trapped and beholden to the mindset and bias that you generally hold. So when we look at the market generally in our community, we look at both sides of the market. And both sides of the market right now, I'll tell you this honestly, okay? On the daily time frame, I think it's abundantly clear that the market and the trend is up. I mean, any person denying that is crazy. However, at the same time, on the local trend right here, we have done something that we have not done in several months, which is we created a break in market structure. We put in a high, we put in a low, we put in a lower high, and then we put in a lower low. That is by definition a change in market structure. The last time we did that was back here in August. Okay, once we slid off like this, and then we reaccumulated and pushed back up, right? But again, we spent a good month in this area. And I bet you 1 month in this area bores people to death, but also makes them commit mistakes right here. So make sure that in this area, wherever we are, whether we consolidate here, whether we pull back some more, or whether we just rock it up straight from here, make sure you are prepared to understand what's happening in the larger scheme of things. Now, in the larger scheme of things, here's what I'm seeing. I see a triangle being developed. It has not broken, in my opinion. Okay, this is the triangle that's developing. Now, these triangles are generally in Bitcoin's history, descending triangles are bearish, but bearish doesn't mean that you have to just drop straight down to 20,000. Okay, bearish could mean that it just goes maybe towards 28,000, maybe towards 26,000, and then starts picking back up steam and then starts heading up towards 40 or 50K in February or March or April, right? But see, the good thing about these triangles, especially longer periods of consolidation, is it's building renewed strength. It's weeding out the old degenerate players from the market, especially those that utilize high leverage, and it puts the asset and puts the positioning of the market into the stronger hands, meaning your bigger hedge funds, your professional traders, those who want to strongly rather hold on to long positions or spot Bitcoin or spot altcoins, etc. Now, my positioning is very well known in my crypto community, in my advantage side, right? I'm already spot BTC for over a year or 2 years, but I'm also long Bitcoin right now, and I have not touched or modified my position. I'm still long, and I will stay long until I see deteriorating signs from the market that tell me that I should not be long anymore. Same thing with altcoins. I have a decent amount of altcoin spot in Ethereum. I have some spot in other various altcoins that I've spoken about before. And again, these things are known to my Advantage members, right? I tell them about my positioning in the market every single day, not because I want others to copy, because I'm just being transparent that this is what I hold and this is what I think is going to happen with this position. And more importantly, I actually update people with my position updates right here for my Advantage members at least once a week or once every 2 weeks to show them I'm still hanging on to positions, or I provide updates on my positions in these channels. Where are my stops? Where am I taking profit? Am I doubling down on my positions? Am I adding to my position, or am I trimming to take profits? Right? All this stuff is available in these channels. Okay. So I think at present moment, like I said, right, we might be creating this kind of descending triangle, but that doesn't mean that from here we have to dump straight down. For all I know, right, this kind of descending triangle could be something similar to what we did several months ago. Okay, so let's look at that, right? Here in this area right here, right, this was supposedly back then a developing descending triangle. Let me see, right? Right here, it kind of looked like something like that was going on, right there. But again, it broke up, sold off, moved sideways for like 2 months, and then broke up. Okay. So you got to be prepared for long periods of consolidation. You got to be prepared for choppy, volatile movement, and then suss out exactly what the market's trying to do. And I think some of my thoughts in regards to the current market structure, I believe personally that the market is probably going to go up from here and take out the highs of these two right here, and quite possibly this high right here, which is around $40,100. Okay. But before we do that, I personally think that we have to first establish this 33,000 area as a potential SR level. If you look at this marker right here, January 3rd weekly open, that has to be established first as a support. If it can establish as a support and we hold here, chances are pretty high that we're going towards 35,000, and beyond that, probably 36.5 and then 38,000. Okay. But if we collapse back down inside this range, chances are pretty high that we're going to take out these three red markers, 31.3, 31 flat, and then 30,500. Why? Because if this is a fake out right here, I'm then looking for areas of susceptibility where there are stops being held up like this. Everything that you see from here and here and here and here is then up for grabs if price breaks down. So these are the red markers that I'd be paying attention to going into the weekend time. And weekend times for the past several months, weekends have been great. Bitcoin has actually done phenomenally well over the weekends. So for all I know, maybe Bitcoin just comes back at 33 and starts pushing up. If it does that, well, then what do? You could probably go long right here, right? You can have your stop below this area, long right here, and then take this trade up to 35, 36.5, and then probably 38 to 25. Okay. But I think right now it's a little bit too early to tell, especially on a daily basis. Like I said, the market itself has changed structure. So even if you are aggressively bullish, at the very least, you need to be cautious in your positioning. Now, you could be cautious a couple different ways. You can go short. You can take profit on some of your spot positions. You can trim your positions, or you can hedge while still having your long position. You could open up a short on, I don't know, March futures, open up a short on options, or open up a short on your sub account, whether you use FTX or Deribit, whatever, right? There's many different ways to play the market, but not all those ways necessarily mean that you have to always be perpetually long. Now, of course, being long has paid off, right? Being long for the last several months has paid off a lot, because anytime the market sells off, it gives you very unique buying opportunities, because those buying opportunities usually yield very, very big upside, right? But here, once again, we now go into cautious mode, or rather a mode of pausing for a little bit and saying, is this potentially a top, or is this a pause, or is this simply a quick sell-off, pick back up and then continue up higher? It's too early to tell. I'm not going to sit here and say this is the top and we have to dump from here. But I'm definitely not going to say that from here, this is the only opportunity that you will get, and from here you must buy, and you must buy for 50,000. For all I know, we might be in a range for like 3 or 4 months. We might retrace some more. It is a new year. We have a new administration. New policies might be taking into effect. People might be taking profit, right? Any number of things could be happening behind the scenes in the market that are playing out in price action, something that you may not find out till weeks or months later, until the price action finally corrects itself. Okay, so you got to be prepared for that. How do I prepare for situations like that? Like yesterday, I'll be completely honest, right? After I gave my community the levels to watch out for, all I said was, I'm just going to wait, because guess what? I have Bitcoin spot, which is doing phenomenally well, right? But then I have a long position, which is from about $38,500, which is underwater. I didn't sell down here because I was fairly confident that this thing is going to rebound back up, give me an exit somewhere up here if I need to. And if it doesn't give me an exit, and if it just pushes higher, great, then I'm in profit. But if it starts showing weakness when it goes up like this and it starts meandering around here and then it starts rolling over, well, then I get to cut. Okay. I wasn't sure as hell going to cut down here because I knew for the most part my risk at how I had positioned my Bitcoin long position had enough of a cushion that I could even absorb a loss just in case we even went to $26,000 or $27,000. Okay. This is where risk management and position sizing comes into effect. If you don't know how to properly manage your position, manage your risk, you are probably the person that panicked right here. You're also probably the person who did not double down on this area, whether it's Bitcoin or other altcoins, right? Because you were either too heavily sized up and you didn't have enough cash to do anything else with, or for the last several months, you didn't believe that prices could keep going up and you decided to literally FOMO in at the top, right? All these things are emotions that traders deal with, whether it's new traders or even experienced traders. Everybody makes mistakes. How costly your mistakes are is something that you have to generally deal with on a day-to-day basis. If you want a long career in trading, you have to be able to manage your risk. You have to be able to properly size up your positions, know when to take profit, know when to hold on to positions, know when to get out. Okay. The CME markets looking pretty decent, right? You know, the one thing that I have kind of a gripe about is I would not have wanted such a strong rebound candle in BTC or even altcoins like ETH or FTT, like really strong right away like this. It scares me because then that tells me that, you know, this sell-off right here did not grab as many people as it should have. Okay, I'm sorry, not that sell-off, but this sell-off right here. So we may have a more pronounced sell-off, maybe a more grinded behavior, whether it's coming back towards these lows or heading back towards lower lows. And that is very properly seen on weekly candles. If you look at the weekly candles across the board, you see a big strong candle, slightly smaller body, right? But unable to close above previous high, and then a big looking doji. Now, of course, we have 2 days in this weekly candle. Anything can happen, right? And of course, anything can happen even after that. We might even pump up, you know, straight up next week. But these are generally candles that give you a caution and a warning sign of, hey, wait a second, you know, something is off here, right? Just pause. Pause, and it's a potential reversal area. And once again, reversals don't mean we have to dump straight down. Reversals could mean from here, maybe we pull back another 10, 15, 20% or something like that. But it is an area that one should pause the way this is looking. Now, this is FTT. Once again, this is one of my favorite altcoins that I like to trade. Weekly on the Bitcoin chart, right? Unless Bitcoin somehow gets back above the weekly closing candles right here, which is around 38,000 or 38,400 by Sunday, which is 2 days from now when the weekly closes, these are not really great looking weeklies. Okay. These are kind of inspiring, you know, maybe more of a correction or maybe more of a sideways consolidation for a couple of weeks. That's what these say, really. And same goes for other altcoins. Even if you look at ETH on a weekly basis, kind of looks like FTT, right? Over here, you had a hanging man doji candle, and then over here, now you have an equal size doji on both sides, you know, wicks on both sides. So it just pauses across the board, right? So all in all, I'm kind of looking at, you know, this area going into the end of the month as maybe this is a temporary, you know, consolidation phase. Maybe this is a temporary top. Maybe we might be doing something big like this, where we might consolidate for another day or couple days, and then start blasting up because there's a big ascending triangle like this developing on things like FTT or on things like ETH right here. Okay, ETH also has a pretty large looking consolidation where it might kind of look like a big triangle that's developing like that. This is a mini deviation. And so this might come down here, consolidate, consolidate, going into end of the month or February, then we start blasting up. Very possible, right? But the one thing that I'm unwilling to do is I'm not willing to say that this is the top and this is probably it. We're going to dump down to 25 or 20K. Those are definitely options that I'm looking at. But right now, that's not what the market is saying. The market is saying, all right, we flushed out enough people right here. We're going to try to see if we can hold up above 33. If so, we're going to 35. If we break above that, if so, we're going to probably 38. And then we'll go from there. If it rolls over from here, and if it starts taking out this low, maybe by tonight or tomorrow, then it's something really bad, something that we are not anticipating in the market. There's some big news that's on its way, or something is wrong in the stock market side, or people are taking profits across the board that we're not aware of. All these things will start then playing into your mind, and you will then have to reposition yourself. Let me see here. Let's check out Link, right? So Link is a very strong runner. I know a lot of people have been talking about Link. It's done phenomenally well, right? Once again, a very strong, almost a bullish engulfing candle. Obviously, we have about 3 hours to go to close this candle, but damn, that looks good. This looks incredibly good. Now, if we want continuation to the upside, you can either go long where it is right now. You can wait for a pullback or consolidation down here towards $20 or 21, or you can have your stop below this area, or you can simply wait for this high to be taken out and then jump back long. Okay, if you want to wait for confirmation, that's what you can do. That's one thing you can do. So there's many different ways how you can play the market, right? From a pivot perspective, let me do this real quick. Let's turn on the pivots. Okay, so from a pivot perspective, right, we have this daily pivot right here. Very good retest on the pivot and, nice push off. So now what we want to do going from here is we maintain price above this pivot and then start pushing towards the weekly pivot, which is this one right here. That's around $35,500. That's a key SR level too, right? So if you're looking for a trade, like I said, if 33,000 holds, or if you want to go long and you think we're just going to keep moving up from here, you can go long right here. You can have your stop below this area or stop below, just this previous wick right here. And you can aim for that 35 marker. I think that's pretty much it. GBTC also had an okay close today. Not that bad of a rebound candle, but nothing, impressively strong, right? But nonetheless, good sign over here. Okay, so all in all, I'm kind of looking at the market for the next couple of days to hopefully, put in a consolidation zone like this, and this would then give more buying opportunities for BTC or possibly even altcoins. The trend is still up. There's a lot still happening in the crypto space. I still do not believe that you can say that the market has topped. It's way too early to tell. It's possible that it's topped, but I don't know how you can say that right away, right? It has to show more signs of deterioration, and then we can re-examine. So for now, I'm long biased. I still retain my spot positions. I still retain my long positions. And then of course, I have my 5K account right here, right? We've done a 5K account challenge for Advantage members. I've told y'all, I started out with $5,000 in a separate account. It was on December 29th or 30th. As of this morning, it was somewhere around 10,500. We were all the way to a high of 18,000, maybe a good week ago. So we've had our ups and downs, but overall, we're still up a good 100-ish%. So if you are interested in watching that kind of analysis of how I trade in the 5K account or how I trade in my main account with my long positions or my spot positions, go to the thealphatrades.com website, hit the products page, and join our Advantage membership. All right, that's all I got for y'all. That's it. Take care. Cheers, and I'll talk to you soon.